You walk into a room, and everyone is already talking, laughing. The English flows like a river fast. Smooth, full of hidden currents. Your friend waves you over. Come on, join us. And that's when it happens. The familiar clutch in your chest. The sudden dry mouth. Your mind, so full of ideas a second ago, goes completely blank. You smile, you nod, but inside you're thinking, not yet. I'll speak when I have the perfect thing to say. The moment passes. You leave feeling frustrated, wondering why something as simple as speaking feels so much like facing a cliff. What is this feeling? It's not just shyness. And it's not because you don't know enough vocabulary or grammar. I learned this the hard way. When I first moved to London, I was convinced my fear was all about making mistakes. I truly believed the lie that everyone was just waiting to hear my bad grammar, so I stayed quiet in meetings. At cafes, I just point and say, "This one," to avoid saying complicated words. I was living in a silent prison, and I had built it myself. My breaking point, my moment of clarity, came during a team lunch. My colleague, Mateo from Spain, was telling a story. And let me tell you, his grammar was a beautiful disaster. He said, "Yesterday, I go to the shop and I am buying the milk, but then I see a dog who is wearing a hat. A small hat." He used the wrong tenses, he mixed up words, and his hands were flying everywhere to help tell the story. And guess what? The entire table was captivated. Everyone was leaning in, hanging on his every word, laughing with him. Not a single person corrected his grammar. They weren't listening for his mistakes. They were listening for the dog in the hat. In that moment, I saw the truth. My fear wasn't about language at all, and yours isn't either. You are not scared of speaking English. You are scared of what you believe speaking English represents. Let's break it down. First, you're scared of the judgment you think is waiting for you. You carry around this invisible panel of judges in your mind, ready to deduct points for every missed s or wrong preposition. People are far too busy with their own lives to meticulously track your errors. They just want to understand what you're saying. Second, you're scared of the version of yourself that appears when you speak a foreign language. It feels like a demotion, a downgrade of your personality. You know you're smart and funny, but you can't express it perfectly, and that's terrifying. It feels like you're presenting a less impressive version of yourself to the world. Third, you are scared of the silence. That terrifying pause that might follow your sentence, where your listener's face goes blank as they try to decode your words. You interpret that processing time as your failure, but it's not. It's just a natural rhythm of cross-cultural conversation. Think about it, when someone is trying hard to understand you, it means they care about what you have to say. And perhaps most of all, you are scared of losing your identity. Your accent, your unique phrasing, they are the fingerprints of your history, of who you are and where you come from. To speak imperfectly can feel like exposing a raw, vulnerable, unfinished part of yourself. It's deeply personal. You feel like you're not just making a grammar mistake. You're revealing an inadequacy in your very being. That lunch with Mateo completely changed my strategy. I decided to stop protecting myself with silence. I started risking my imperfect self. At first, I would begin sentences with, "Sorry, my English isn't very good, ... But then another colleague stopped me. She said, "Don't ever apologize for sharing your voice." And she was right. Apologizing for your English is like apologizing for being you. The magic wasn't in suddenly speaking perfectly overnight. That never happened. The magic was in realizing that the fear was always about my own perception, not about the reality of communication. I started to see that people aren't listening for your mistakes. They're listening for you, for your ideas, your humor, your personality, your stories. The language is just the vehicle. It doesn't have to be a brand new Ferrari. A trusted, slightly battered sedan will get you to the same destination. Think of your fear as a guard standing in front of a door. It's a very intimidating guard, telling you all the reasons you shouldn't go through. But here's the secret. The door is already unlocked. The guard is a product of your imagination. The danger it's protecting you from, that crushing universal judgment, exists almost entirely in your own mind. So how do you get past this guard? You don't fight it. You just acknowledge it and walk right past it. The moment you take a breath and speak, even when your heart is pounding, you take back your power. You prove to yourself that the world doesn't end when you use the wrong tense. You discover that a smile and a shared laugh are a universal language that can bridge any grammatical gap. Remember Matteo and the dog in the hat? He wasn't perfect, but he was memorable. He connected. He was real. Your goal isn't to be a perfect English speaker. Your goal is to be a heard person, to be seen, to connect. You are not your perfect future English. You are the courageous person who is willing to be heard exactly as you are right now. The world is waiting to hear what you have to say, stumbles, accent, and all. So take a breath, open the door, and just start talking. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your own story in the comments below. Let's build a community of courageous speakers together.